Still trying to work out how to do a nice big meeting here in Zoom, but I think we're getting it. All right, let's get rolling. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone, and you're here in the Referral Mastermind Call. Thank you so much for joining us today. The purpose of the mastermind is to talk about how to increase our repeat and referrals from our past clients and sphere of influence, our friends, family, past clients. And we're here to brainstorm together. This is an open session where we use the power of the mastermind to help one another out. And we're going to go back to the olden days, the goodies, with Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. And he wrote this idea. He had this idea and created it, this idea of a mastermind where you have a lot more power. Instead of sitting by yourself trying to strategize and figure out solutions, you'll have a lot more power if you get together with a group of people and you think about a topic and focus your efforts on it. And the more people you have involved, the more ideas that will come out, the more solutions that will be available, more experience there, and we all win together. So that's the idea of the referral mastermind, and the idea of any mastermind. So hopefully that helps. And boom. All right. So if you have, let's do this. Let's start out with some successes that you've had in the last week when it comes to referrals. Anybody who would like to share a success you've had in the last week or so that you've had with referrals, you've gotten a referral, something worked, you sent something out to generate referrals, it worked. Anything in the realm of referrals you would like to share, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell the group what you think. You can also, I think there's a raised hand somewhere in here, but either way would work. So we'll go ahead. Anybody have any successes they would like to share? Okay, that's all right. So if you think of any successes you would like to share, please do. Please unmute yourself and share it with the group, and we'd be happy to hear what you got to say. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm letting everybody in. Sorry about that. And boom. Yeah. Okay. And so there we go. So slow start, but we're going to get this picked up. Who has a challenge that they have when it comes to getting referrals that they would like to share and have the group mastermind on? Think about, see if we can come up with a solution for you. If you have any kind of challenge you're working through with referrals, go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell the group what you're experiencing. See if we can't come up with an idea on how to solve that. I got a quiet group today where my technology is not working. I'm not sure which one it is. But well, first of all, can everybody hear me? Maybe I should start there. Maybe I'm missing a basic here. Can everybody hear? Can anybody hear me? And unmute yourself and just let me know that you can hear me okay.
I can hear you.
Hey, Jackie, thank you for letting me know.
I
was worried I was all by myself. I messed something up somewhere.
No, you're good.
How are your referrals going this week?
Well, I've gotten a few referrals. Unfortunately, they're on the low end of the price point. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm having a challenge. When I first started my business, I really focused on first-time home buyers, and now those buyers are trying to move up, but it's a real challenge in the market that we have here. And then also their referrals tend to be a younger group of folks, and they're on the lower end of the price point. So I am getting referrals, but unfortunately, I had 5 last year I could not put in homes.
Oh boy. Yeah, because of the price point, because of the qualification.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a good challenge. Let me address that for a second, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's a good point. I've heard other people kind of bring that idea up, especially with our fast-moving market and everything, and it being so competitive and all the cash offers and needing cash or high qualification and competitiveness. Let me just mention that we all kind of knew this market would start to change, and it is now starting to change, right? I'm getting the little trickles of information coming in, and it's just common sense, right? We ebb and cycle all the time. If you've been in the business a long time, you know it goes up and it goes down and everything in between. And as the inflation starts up, that means interest rates are going to go up, which means fewer people are going to qualify, which means the market's going to slow down, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know when. Timing is always the hard part. But we know probably, I'm guessing, probably within the next year or so, things will slow down and not be this crazy hyper seller's market that it's been. It may continue to be strong. I'm not sure what it's going to slow down to, but it's not going to be this crazy, frantic state that we've been in for the last year and a half, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. And so because of that, I think that you need to continue to reach out to these folks and bring these people in who are new buyers, because historically the new buyer segment takes up 40+% of the market, right? It starts everything. Without somebody starting off with that first-time home buyer purchase and allowing that first-time home buyer owner to move up, it's hard for everything else to start working. So they kind of prime the pump. It's a little bizarre right now because of investors and other things that are happening, but just keep in mind that those folks that you're dealing with now that are difficult are going to be gold in a year or 2 or 3 as things start to slow down. So I advise you not to eliminate that marketing that you're doing or taking those folks in. It's just that you have to now advise them about how hard the market is and decide how much time to spend there. But don't eliminate that is where I'm trying to go with it. The other thing is you can target market inside of your referral database to work more higher end or higher qualified, higher price point clients. Now, you mentioned you started with your first-time home buyers, and that's where your database is, and I completely understand that. But in your total sphere, if you start digging into it, you're going to be able to find folks who are at different levels of ownership is typically what you'll see. If you'll go through your database, you'll if you know where people live, you can identify kind of what their price point is right now, or at least relative to other people. And you kind of stack it, and you can create a breakout of your group where you're marketing a little heavier to your higher price point owners. That's going to generate more business in that segment because they're going to start to get their reticulator activator out, talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends, etc. And you can kind of develop that upper end higher price in your relative higher price market. Keep in mind this as well. I'm one final thought, full of thoughts today. And by the way, I want everybody else to participate. I'm just trying to get this started. The idea of the dog and its tail wagging, the low end of the market is very close to the dog if it's the tail, and the high end of the market is out on the tip of the tail. And that thing waves a lot during the market, right? So when the market goes up like it is, the higher end market starts to go up, and that's pretty cool. When the markets slow down, though, that upper end will go down quicker and have fewer buyers and fewer people able to work it. So try to keep your business spread out across the markets or stay towards the middle as far as the bulk of the business is a good general rule. That said, I do like niche markets. So let's go ahead and open it up to the group a little bit. Does anyone have any ideas for Jackie when she's talking about this idea of having these first-time home buyers, hard to get them going? What do you think she should do? If you have an idea, go ahead and unmute yourself and share it with the group. Well, Jackie, oh, go ahead. Who's that? Hello.
Sherry Benner.
Hey,
Up in
Sherry.
Maine. I'm up in Maine. We're having such fun. And I feel your pain. I've got, right at the moment, I've been working with 5 sets of buyers that are almost all interchangeable because they're all looking in the same area. They're all looking for that same unicorn. But I have gotten 3 so far under contract, and I'm waiting for this afternoon. So let's think some good thoughts for me that this fourth couple is going to be it. But
Congratulations.
thank you. That's for the new buyers that I'm working with. But we've gotten very creative, and everybody knows, because you can't be asking sellers anymore to pay towards closing costs. I mean, that's ridiculous, because you're trying to compete with everybody else that's looking for this property. What I've been doing, what the buyers have been doing, is we've been offering to the seller that we will pay $2,000 to the seller's closing costs.
Ooh.
And I mean, that one little thing has caught, it set ours apart. And sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. But in each case, when we've submitted offers, the listing agent has said, oh, that caught us. You know, first we thought, was that a typo? It's like, oh, no. So just trying to be creative and set yourself apart. And my folks can all afford up to $2,000, but it just set them apart.
Great idea.
What do you think of that, Jackie?
I think that's a great idea. And I guess I would say, unfortunately, or fortunately for our buyers, our sellers, they don't have much closing costs. Buyers pretty much pay all title and escrow in the Bay Area, well, most of the Bay Area. So, but I will think about other ways that we can, my sellers or buyers have offered to pay my commission versus the selling agent or the sellers paying the commission. That's worked a couple of times. And it's also helped with appraisal issues.
Very nice. Very nice. Sherry, thank you for bringing that to us, and Jackie as well. Anybody else have any other ideas about working with referrals when they come in and it's a buyer, and the buyer is on the low end of your scale in your area, whatever that means, and you're having some challenges getting them accepted? Anyone else have any ideas? If you have an idea, go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us. It's kind of an interesting topic. A lot of people are experiencing it. Sherry, if you're still there, Sherry, I'd like to ask you a quick follow-up question. You were talking about you have 5 buyers in this lower area. You had 3 under contract, a 4th one. You had this idea of putting in the closing costs. Is there anything else that you saw that was different, that occurred, that you can attribute to your success? Has your market changed, or have you done anything else that you would say was unique or different?
So right now, our market is mirroring everybody else, where in the area, put it this way, in the area where I'm at is the greater Portland area. So I'm southern Maine, which the people in northern Maine, we're called upper Massachusetts. They don't think we're really part of them. But anyway, the price points are higher. And so the offers we are submitting, and yes, this is first-time home buyers and on the lower side of things, but the offers we are submitting are going 100,000 over asking price. And
wow.
Thinking, oh yeah. And you're thinking, well, that's enough, and it's not. So we're going in, we're making sure, and again, it all depends if they can do it. But we're putting in that we're doing the appraisal gap language is key. That we're saying it's capped, that we're still doing that we can do 10,000, or depending on which one I'm working with, up to 10,000 or 20,000. That's in addition to the cash we're bringing for the down payment. And a lot of buyers, and I mean, I don't advise it, but this is the reality of it. They're breaking into their 401k, the retirement plans, to get the cash out, because you are allowed for the purchase of a home to take out of your retirement funds without the penalty. And so they're bringing that to the table to cover any potential appraisal gap, or even sometimes for the down payment. So we've got the appraisal gap in there. We're saying that we'll pay up to 2,000 of closing costs. And I did have to instruct, and an agent that I was helping to do the same thing, and she had put in that buyers will pay sellers closing costs. And I'm like, yeah, no. Technically, I think paying off their mortgage is towards their closing costs. So yeah, let's not do that. Be specific about what you're saying. So we just say up to $2,000 towards closing costs, and then it's a given that we're not doing inspections anymore. But for everyone that doesn't do an inspection, I'm making sure that they are signing the form there saying I'm not being held responsible if after they move in and something is there that they would have found if they had an inspection. So
what a nutty
Yeah.
market.
yeah, so we're
It's
doing
crazy.
appraisal gap, no inspections, paying for closing costs. Trying to think what else. But again, it was everybody was expecting the no inspections. Everyone was expecting the appraisal gap because all offers are putting that in now. But the paying for the closing costs, again, that one really stuck out because here we've been so used to sellers paying up to, $5,000, $7,000 towards buyers' closing costs, that it's been, enjoyable for them to say, oh, yeah, they're really serious. They're going to turn around and pay for the seller up to, whatever the dollar amount is.
Right. Very creative. I like that, that you're working and looking for solutions. I'm going to throw out an idea that I have not verified anywhere. So use this at your own risk, but there may be another way you're giving me some ideas. I'm just playing off your ideas, Sherry. And that is maybe you offer the seller a computer, right? Something outside the realm of cash that stands out. So you offer them a laptop or a tablet or something unique that just makes you stand out. I'm not sure how that would go on the HUD. You'd have to talk to the lender and maybe your broker, but it is something that you start to get into that creative realm. I think it's also interesting how you said you are having the buyers waive their right to the inspection, but you're having them sign a disclosure that they're limiting their liability to you, or it's limiting the liability and risk to you. That's interesting as well. Anybody else have any ideas on how to deal with this tight market, working with buyers in the lower end or any part of the market where you're running into these multiple offer situations and you're trying to stand out?
Mike, I see Troy has a chat message that he left you.
Okay, and thank you. Yeah, I'm doing this on my own and not very good at it. Let's see. Thank you for mentioning that. Let's see what we got here. Chad. Whoops. Troy, excuse me. Troy, I've seen where buyer pays up to 6% of seller commission expenses. The listing agent has a 5% commission and amended the listing agreement to 6%. See where the buyer pays up to 6% of the seller's commission. The listing agent had a 5% commission and amended the listing agreement to 6%. I'm not sure quite how that works. Troy, are you still there? Are you able to tell us what's happening? Oh, he has no mic. No problem. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm just not sure I completely understand what's happening there. The buyer's paying 6% of the seller's commission. And so that increased the commission from 5 to 6, and that covered the agent's cost. But it's another creative idea. Remember, if you're going to do some of these things, and Troy, thank you for contributing. If you're going to do some of these things, be sure to run it past the lender who's involved, because there may be limitations in the financing unless you're doing a cash deal. And also may want to bounce it off your broker just to make sure. But I do love the creativity to find solutions and stand out. One other quick idea is and you kind of start to mention it, well, maybe I just shouldn't work with the first time home buyer, the low end, whatever that means in your market price point. Although I think they're experiencing this throughout all price points. And one of the ideas, instead of not working with them completely, is to hand it off somehow, either hand it off to another agent in the office to run for you, to help either as a referral, or using the showing agent model, where you're taking an agent in the office who has a little free time, maybe they're new, whatever their reasoning, they have some free time, and you pay them either a flat fee, which is usually the smartest, or a percentage to run that buyer around for you, which takes a little bit of that pressure off. Now, in that showing agent model, you still negotiate the contract, so you still have to have this creative part. Right. Well, that was a fun topic. Jackie, I hope it helped a little bit. I know you got some challenges there. I know you'll work through them. Again, my advice to you is to hang in there. The markets will change, but it may not make it easier for your buyer. For instance, when I was early on in my career, these interest rates are incredibly low. Interest rates had come down when I started. They were over 10. They came down to 7% on a 30-year fixed, and we were so excited. And within 30 days, they jumped up to 9%. So interest rates can really move radically, and we might start seeing some of that. And as you can guess, it starts to price people out of the market. But enough of that happens, it slows down the market, and then you no longer have these multiple offer situations going on. We're going to get some kind of slowdown, is my expectation. Just don't know how rough the landing will be.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see a little bit of softening in the market in the Bay Area, just a little bit though.
When you say that, what do you attribute that to? What is it, just a feeling or a sense, or can you say, I see X number less or more?
Well, we were in a situation where we were going $200,000 and $300,000 over the asking price, and anywhere from 10 to 18 offers on any given listing, just because our inventory is so low in the area. And now we're starting to see maybe 1 or 2 offers, 3 offers per listing, and not as substantially over as in the past, but they're still going non-contingent and still going over the asking price.
Right, because that's been the tradition. That's been the hot water everybody's in for the last 18 months.
Right.
Well, that's interesting to hear. I'd be curious what other people have to say about their own market, whether they feel things are the same speed, slowing down, speeding up, what exactly they're feeling. But I like how you're showing the number of offers per property, as well as these contingencies and other bonuses that are having to be done. Anybody else have any information about their market, whether they're seeing a slow down or speed up, and how they can attribute that? Hey, Sherry.
Can I add something? Yes, and I'll agree with what she was just saying. We're seeing, it used to be for my listings, I'm getting 20 to 30 offers. And the last one I was kind of joking on because I only got 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow, poor me. I only had 7.
It's a breeze.
Yeah. And I didn't get any sympathy for the rest of the office. Like, oh, yeah, poor you, only 7. And again, they were all each one in any market would have been killer to have accepted. But what we're still seeing is, again, for all those things that we were talking about, we're still seeing the use of escalation clauses. And I don't know if that's a big thing in other markets, but 1 in every 3 that comes through is with an escalation clause.
Sure. Explain what you mean by an escalation clause so people understand what that is if they haven't heard of it.
So basically, the one that I have submitted for this afternoon, we've put in an offer of $375,000. However, we have added an escalation clause. And by the way, the property is on the market for $335,000. So we've gone up, we're putting in $375,000. And then we have said we will match anybody else's offer at $2,000 above. up to a cap of 450. So basically at 375, but you have submitted an offer for 400. Well, we have said we're matching that 400 and adding to. So now our 375 offer has become 402. And a lot of my successful closings have been because of the escalation clauses being used. So a couple of years ago, that wasn't a big deal. And now you're seeing it all the time. Also, in what we always used to do for especially the first-time home buyers, we always wrote the love letters. And I was like the queen of these love letters. I write really well and very emotional. We tugged all the buttons. Now, of course, that is a huge no-no. So no more letters, but you're trying to think of other creative ways to touch with the group, with the homeowner. So what I do instead, my folks, but I already have the cards already prepared, and then I just have them sign it. When we're doing showings, we leave a card, an actual, card in an envelope, not a business card in the envelope. Yeah, a thank you card where the folks are saying, "Oh, thank you. It was so adorable. We love your house," and everything. And so I haven't touched, I have not prepared anything. They're leaving it on their own. And that has also made a difference where I put my business card in with it, but I mean, so that they know which one when the offer comes in. Oh, that's the couple that left us a thank you note. And so nobody said anything about that we couldn't do a thank you note. We just can't do the love letters.
Classy.
It's interesting how you are looking for every little advantage, right? Every little benefit that you can do. I really admire that and that creativity. I hope your clients can appreciate how much you're doing for them to give them that little edge. And those are the ways I talk about that little edge, a little percent better. And definitely be sure to relay that to your clients, get them in on the game, right? Because it's kind of a game. And why you're doing the game, I'm sure you're telling them this, because they're going to tell who when it works out. They're going to tell their friends, right? They're going to tell their family. They're going to say, "Man, Sherry had this great idea to just bring a thank you card," right? And I fill out the thank you card, and you wouldn't believe it. At the closing table, the seller said the reason they picked us was the thank you card. And all these things you're experiencing, I guess that's one of the few things I can bring to the conversation is longevity. In the 90s, this stuff all happened too. We had super hot markets. I worked with a buyer. We were the 74th buyer. I mean, I understand we had crazy things like that happen. We were doing escalation clauses. We were doing the love letters. Somebody told me about a love letter, and I did it on a property, and my client did get it. And we were in competition at that time with maybe 12 other buyers. We weren't even the highest offer. We were not the highest offer. But because of the love letter and the comments that were made, that it was a young couple, they were going to bring their grandma in to live with them and stuff. It just touched the heart of the sellers, and they made it work. So those kind of things do help. As far as restrictions, I don't know if that's happening per market. I haven't kept up on that as far as the love letter. But these ideas are things you should be taking in, writing down, thinking about how you can incorporate them into your plan. And to bring it together, to bring it around for the referral mastermind, be sure to bring your people in on the game. Don't keep them out on the outside. Bring them on the inside of all these extra things you're doing for them. Not only will it create loyalty with that client, it's going to definitely create more referrals for you in the future. Sherry did this, Jackie did this, they did this amazing thing for me. Troy, who came up with this idea, Troy had this idea and it worked. Now, the only way they can tell everybody that it worked is you have to tell them what you're doing, right? Okay. This has been kind of interesting and fun. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to throw in or contribute to this idea of how to deal with making an offer. You're working with a buyer in this difficult market, and making yourself stand out so that you'll help that buyer achieve their goals, and then ultimately get more referrals.
In our market, it's been helpful sometimes to have your client get fully a full loan commitment or fully underwritten prior to identification of the property. It kind of, especially if they have some flexibility with an appraisal or they can waive their appraisal, it equalizes them to a cash offer, and it eliminates a lot of the competition.
Todd, that's a great idea. You betcha. And there's all kinds of things that we can do to help position our client, our buyer. And so let's just talk about that real quick. There's different levels of qualification and financing, from the old fashioned, write it down the back of a napkin for a pre-qual, to a pre-approval, to a commitment from the lender. So there's all these different levels of depth that the buyer has gone into with the lender as far as what they've presented to them and whether they've gone in front of an underwriter or not, whether it's been a computer underwriter, an automated underwriter, or a human underwriter. And the further along that process you can take your buyer, the more qualified they are. And it's something as a buyer's agent you need to point out with the listing agent. And it sounds like, Todd, you've done that. What a great idea. Thank you for bringing that concept to us. Good. Anybody else, either on the financing or any of these ideas that popped up? I hope this is all being helpful. Any other ideas that you're using in your market to help your buyer? It's kind of where this conversation has got. It's been kind of fun to help your buyer win in this game, in this tough market.
I had a different comment on you mentioning that you should, tell your buyers what you're doing to differentiate yourself, to differentiate them. What I've started to do is when something happens that is integral to trying to get them in, or they're very happy, I think about what the actual event is, and I write it down as a reminder to myself. So when I go to ask for reviews and I give them examples of what they could talk about, I actually go back with their own words or the events to remind them so they incorporate that into the review.
Genius. I love it. I love it. Todd, let's run on that for a second, because reviews can generate more referrals, right? It's a great idea. It's the old idea of the testimonial. So you write down the idea, and it sounds like then you ask them later. The only thing that I could add to that is you might want to reduce the time between those events. So if there's a way for you to get them to do a review or a testimonial, preferably in video, as close to the event as possible and their excitement and happiness with you, that would be ideal. So for instance, if you're working with a buyer and you did something and it resulted in them getting the contract and beating out 13 other buyers, if at the time that you get all that paperwork signed, if you could say, hey, Sally and John, would you mind just telling everyone else out there how cool this was in your own words? I'd love to hear it from you. I like to share the good news with everybody. And, you pop out your phone and do a quick video, or have them do a Zoom call, or, try to get video if possible. And if worst case, get them to write it down, or ask for the testimonial then, because the best time to ask for a review or a testimonial is when they're happiest. Have you played with any of that, Todd?
I haven't done it that way, but I just went to a seminar last week where they talked about trying to get the social proof right away, like you're describing, and doing it with a Facebook Live. So going on and can I get you just to talk about what we just experienced and what you're feeling, and then you can publish that obviously to Facebook, but then you can also republish it to like your YouTube channel.
What a great idea! I love it. I love it. And I recommend that you try to do that. I know it's not always possible, may seem awkward, maybe late at night or something. Try to get them the next morning. Try to get it as close to that good feeling as possible. And the reason is obviously multifold. One, they're more likely to do it. Two, when they do it, they're going to have all this great emotion coming through. You know, Todd is this amazing guy. You can't believe what he just did for us, and so excited. We got our dream home, and it was so difficult. And they're gonna put in all the details that make it real and authentic. What a good idea. So you said Facebook Live. What a cool idea. Anybody else have any other ideas, or Todd have any more ideas on how you could get that that recommendation, that testimonial, that review right there on the spot, as close to the event as possible? All right, go ahead. Who's that?
Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
I have a sign that after the closing, I always take a picture of my clients for the buyers. And the sign said, they said yes to the house.
Cool.
Like yes to the dress, it's yes to the house. And
Now,
so they love, so it's cute. And then they share it with all their friends, because I have it on their Facebook page as well as mine, and then they're sharing it. And of course, at the bottom of the sign is, Sherry Benner for Berkshire Hathaway. So, it's advertising for me.
that's beautiful. I love it. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear, those kind of things. And that was my follow-up, which you nailed, which is, what do you do with that picture, right? So you got this cool picture now. They're smiling. You got your sign there. By the way, are you standing in the picture, or is it just them?
Sometimes it's me, but usually I'm the one taking the photos. But sometimes the other side or whatever, we'll have a picture of all of us.
Yeah, whenever possible, try to get your face in there too, to be sharing in the excitement. Now, you said you're taking that picture and you're putting it on social media, on to their friends and then to your friends. Do you do anything else with it in the future? Do you take that picture and put it out to your sphere, your past clients and sphere of influence, as social proof of what you've done?
So yes, on several things. So on the day of the closing, that photo goes onto my business page, and then it's shared on their Facebook pages. And then it's just organic that they're sharing with everybody, hey, we just closed on the house type thing. So that goes without saying. And then I have a monthly e-newsletter that goes out. And so for the closings of the month, the photos are in there. So everybody who's receiving the newsletter is seeing that as well.
I love it. That's fantastic. You could put it onto a postcard. You could put it into a newsletter, either physical or digital. You could have a page on your website with the testimonial pages. What a great idea.
What is different about this as opposed to other agents, and I hate it, I think we all hate it when we see it, is, oh, look, I just sold this and it was, 100,000 over. It's like, it's not about you. And so happy buyers or happy clients, then you're not coming across as being, oh, it's me. It's like, look at those, I always say, look at those smiles, and it's how to start off. So I'm showcasing them and their joy. And oh, by the way, if you're looking to buy, I can help you. But that's not blatantly put in. It's just, kind of inferred, but it's out there. So always come from contribution. So I was helping those people to get their dream, and not that, oh, I sold something. Look how fast I sold it, 100,000 over. Woohoo, I'm great.
You're showing the result, right? A potential buyer who sees the smiling faces of these people who just accomplished what they want to accomplish. They're going to put themselves in those shoes, and they're going to understand that happiness and excitement, which is the benefit of the big smile. I like how you mentioned that. And by the way, I think there's times for either way to go about that, and there can be arguments of whether it works or not. I like the best thing about what I heard you say is your approach fits you. You're very comfortable with it. You are comfortable with it so much you're willing to get that information out into your group and show them evidence of your success, so that they tell their friends. I like also that you had in the picture, from the way you described it, contact information. It's basically a little teeny offer and a call to action to get back to you, right? Because you have your phone number there or something is there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's genius. I love it. I love it, Sharon. What a great contribution. You really helping us out a lot today. I do appreciate it. Thank you. So anybody else have any ideas on how you can take this idea of a success that you've had in your business and document it and share it with your PCSOI, your past client and sphere of influence, your database, your group of people, your tribe, these people who know, like, and trust you, and you're hoping will repeat with you, do it again, or refer somebody to you to get additional business. Any other ideas on how to take that evidence of success, either a buyer closing, a seller closing, and amp that up to generate more business? Go ahead, Todd.
I'm thinking that you could set up a landing page with some of these video testimonials or written testimonials, and then you could do either in your monthly to your sphere of past clients about your solds. You could do kind of a bomb video introducing, hey, if you want to experience something similar, check out the stories of these people and their successes.
Love it. I love it.
Great idea.
Todd, that's a fantastic idea. I'm going to try to plus it a little bit. What about, and again, I'm not sure about the technology, you have to figure it out, but what about starting your bomb video with you and then referring to these folks in the bomb video where they see the video in the bomb video? If that makes sense what I'm trying to say. You're kind of like the host. You introduce it, you have John and Sally say what a great guy you are, and then you can cap it off and you just basically say, hey, I just helped these folks and here's what they have to say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I love this. And I really like this idea. And again, thank you for bringing it up. The most powerful marketing you can do, bar none, is a testimonial. So that should be one of the big lessons from today's call. If anytime you can get someone to do a testimonial about you, either written, in a picture, a video is obviously they're going up to strength, but all of them are good. You should absolutely do that because you can use that to leverage and show social proof of how good you are without you having to say it, right? Somebody else is saying it. It's why it's so powerful. I'll give you a quick example. When you go to Amazon and you're going to buy something, I don't know if you're like me, but after I identify that this is what I'm interested in, the first thing I do is boom, go down and look at all the comments, right? I want to see what other people are thinking about this product or service. Anybody else do that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I bet you most of us do, right? And when we do that, it's because we want that social proof. We want to see that other people verify that this person has the skill or the talent, or this product is good, or this person has the talent of what we want. And the next thing I'll tell you is that the more details that are in there, the better, right? Because if you can identify someone who's in your shoes and it sounds like your situation, and you go, oh my gosh, Jackie just helped me do blank. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm trying to do. Jackie's the one who can help me. There was I'm trying to remember who it was. There was an old real estate trainer who said they did an experiment. And instead of sending a pre-listing package before you went out on a listing appointment, instead of sending a pre-listing package, that said, I'm great at this and I'm great at that, which by the way is excellent. You should absolutely do it. But instead of doing that, this person said, look, we're going to just take these 10 testimonials that you got, and it was the old days, was in paper. We're going to make copies of them and we're going to have them delivered. And that's it. Just give them the testimonials, nothing else. Nothing else, just give them the testimonials. And the success rate went through the roof for the agent that did that, because that's what people want to know. Can you help me achieve this goal? And this shows that you've helped all these other people achieve this goal, so you can help me. Anytime you can get that testimonial is powerful. In fact, that's what we'll do as we wrap up today. Any other ways that people that are here are getting testimonials, reviews, proof, social proof that they would like to share?
Well, our brokerage has just recently started sending them out after all of our closings. So if the information at the email is in the database, then it automatically goes out after it closes.
Tell me a little more about that. What do you mean? What exactly is happening?
Well, it just started. So what they did is they took our last year's sales and sent this request out via email, or if they didn't have email, they did a hard letter mail and asked them to respond to this website with information regarding our performance. They instructed all of the agents to give them a heads up. Hey, just wanted to let you know we're starting a new program and you'll be getting this email. Really important. Would love to hear your feedback and how I can better my business. And so I got awesome reviews from all my past clients last year, and I had not gotten those. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it kind of came from a third party, so people may have felt a little more comfortable replying to ABC Realty instead of replying right back to Jackie to tell them, because they know you work for ABC, and they're like, man, you better give Jackie a good review here. That also has a little psychology pressure there. And you're saying they came in great. Were they written reviews? Were they oral? Were they video, visual?
No, they were all written reviews. They went on the website and filled out a form.
Perfect. And
but I like the idea of the video. I definitely like the idea of the video.
It's just, if you can do it, it's more powerful. Written is awesome, and it's easier to distribute, by the way, writing is, but video is just super powerful. You can also do one step between, which is just audio. If someone's uncomfortable with the video, you can put their picture up with the audio as an example. Okay, so you have these reviews, and they went up on the website of the company. Is there a way that you can take those, or did they take those and put them out on, say, Google reviews or Zillow reviews, or somewhere out there where people are searching around for some SEO traffic?
They haven't as of yet, but it's definitely something I'm looking into.
Let's see how else we can plus this. Have you taken the reviews, the review page? I assume from what you're saying, there's a page that just says your name, Jackie Pena, and it says, boom, here's all the reviews for Jackie, and and it's a link, it's a URL. Have you taken that URL and shot it out to your group, or taken a screenshot of it and send it out to your group, or done a video where you say, hey, I'm just so excited, I got all these amazing reviews, check this out, and you leave the link underneath under the video. You can even read a couple of them in the video to get people a flavor. And as Sherry was saying, just remember, it is true that if you can turn it around and give it from the perspective of the client, it does have more power. You say, check out what John and Mary, I was so happy helping them. You can even give some background story, right? You can say, here's their review, and here's what happened, and here was the story, and boom. You could do one video on each of those things.
I will take that into consideration. Like I said, it's really new, and we just got all the information back. It's probably been less than 60 days, but I'm definitely working on that.
I love it.
I will take that into consideration.
Yeah, think about it, because I can't emphasize enough how powerful these testimonials are. First person, third person, third person, by the way, is if someone else says it, that like your company says it about you. You can even do second person where you're saying it about yourself. But the first person testimonial where this person's coming out and talking about you, it's just so powerful. Even if it's in writing, you can amp it up into a video by talking about it. With permission, you could show the pictures of the family or the house that you helped them buy. I just am bringing this up because there's nothing more powerful for you to get more clients.
I agree. And I'm also looking for SEO optimization. So I'm working on that as well. So those videos will help.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up and participating. What a great idea. This has been so much fun. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and participating in the referral mastermind call. Got a little excited today. I went over. I was trying to finish at a quarter till, but we had so many great ideas flowing. This has been a fun session. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it. And I hope you'll all come back and join us again next week at the same time, same place, where we'll do another open referral mastermind call where we share ideas. By the way, did everybody feel how all these ideas are now coming from multiple places and it's helping out? Has this been helpful? I think it was. Does anybody else?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up and again. Oh, is there a hand? I'm just trying to figure out this. I can barely see. I don't know if somebody has their hand up or not, but if you did, I'm sorry if I missed you. Anyway, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us today at the Referral Mastermind Call. Again, same time, same place next week. And I hope you have a fantastic and productive week. Take care.
Thank you, Mike. Bye-bye.
Take care. All righty. Bye now.